The Samjun washing machine spins, and the shirt comes out sparkling white. The baby rubs his cheek against the shirt, happy, and calls out to his dad. The commercial ends with a refreshing scene of the shiny washing machine. In my past life, this ad was a huge success. It even won the Dongai Advertising Award. The child actor in it became instantly famous. So I have to do this commercial. Then, as the shoot begins, Jahi starts crying. The lead actress says, "What is going on? Every time I go near him, he tries to hit me." Seong's mom says, "Why is he suddenly acting like this?" Seong smiles. "Exactly. Why is he doing that?" He adds, "Everything's going just according to my genius plan." We get a flashback. Seong says, "That kid, Jahi, he's miserable because of his mom. I gave him a brilliant tip. I told him whenever Sami comes close, cry your heart out and you'll get to go home faster." Am I a mind reader? I don't know. Maybe because we're both kids, we could understand each other. The director says, "This isn't working. Let's film with the second model." The rich woman shouts, "What do you mean? My baby won." The director responds, "We've been delayed for over an hour. The child won't cooperate and he hits the lead actress every time she comes near. What else can we do?" He gets stern. "We have to wrap the shoot today." The rich woman yells, "Shut up. Don't you know who our family is?" She pulls out her phone and says, "The chairman of Dukong adores his grandchild. I'm calling him right now." Seong watches and mutters, "Wow, a phone from the 90s? The woman shouts, "I'm contacting him right now and I'll have all of you replaced." Just then, the lead actress, Senmi, walks up and slaps that rich woman across the face. Everyone is completely shocked. Senmi says, "What the hell is this? I can't stand it when people who have nothing to do with the project come to the set and cause drama. And just because you're the wife of a duck paper executive, I get it. You enjoy acting like you're above everyone else." She turns to the director and says, "Let's start filming again. I want to shoot this commercial with this kid." The director agrees. "All right, everyone get ready." The rich woman shouts, "You're choosing to shoot with this low-class kid instead of Jahi? What can he even do?" Seong's mom quickly covers Seong's ears so he doesn't hear any of it. Seong narrates, "Those camera lights, they were one of the few things that stuck with me until the end of my previous life. Acting confidently in front of a camera was one of my strongest skills, so I know exactly how to handle this." The assistant director shows Sanmi her final lines. She says, "Look at how clean Dad's dirty shirt got. Right, baby? It's super clean and fluffy now." Seong gives such an adorable expression that everyone on set is impressed again. The director says, "Keep the main camera like that. Everyone else, focus around Seong." Seong keeps acting, and the director says, "His eyes are locked right on the camera. What even is this kid?" Even the lead actress is stunned. Seriously, how is he acting this well for a commercial? The assistant director shows Sanmi the final lines. She delivers them perfectly, and the shoot for the washing machine ad wraps up nicely. Later that evening, the same rich woman is still yelling, "Just because he gave one cute performance, now you want to make him the commercial model instead of Jahi?" The director teases, "What about Jahi? The kid couldn't even act." Seong is exhausted at this point. Senmi walks over to Seong's mom and says, "Let her scream all she wants. It's not going to change anything. What's the point of this drama? I mean, what can we do if her kid couldn't act? Compared to that, our Seong was amazing. I didn't expect to finish the shoot in just 2 hours." That woman storms over to Sami and snaps, "Don't make me laugh. You have no idea how much money I spent on this crappy set." "Right, assistant director? I bet you got paid plenty too." The director overhears and says, "Wait, assistant director, you got paid off? We're going to have a serious talk later." As the rich woman walks away, she shouts again, "I'll remember this, all of you." But Seong doesn't say a word. He's just too tired. The director turns to Seong's mom. "I'm so sorry. This must have been overwhelming for you." She replies, "No, you've worked very hard. We appreciate that." The director smiles. "Actually, I should be the one thanking you. I don't even want to imagine what would have happened if Seong hadn't been here today." Seong hears this and smiles proudly. The director continues, "That was our last shoot of the day. You're all free to go home now. The payment will be handled through the company, honestly and with full respect." Hearing that, Seong starts laughing, and his mom beams, "All right, time to head home. You must be exhausted." Senmi chimes in, "Would it be all right if I dropped you off in my van?" Seong's mom agrees. Cut to the van ride. Seong is fast asleep. Sanmi says, "He looks so adorable when he sleeps." His mom replies, "He must be really tired. And thank you so much for giving us a ride in your nice car." But Sanmi says, No, I should be the one thanking Siyoung. That surprises Siyoung's mom. Sanmi explains, today Siyoung was an incredible lead actor. I should thank him. Because of him, I'll actually be able to get to my next job on time. His eyes were following the camera lights perfectly. He really understood the camera work and was syncing perfectly with my rhythm. It might just be coincidence, but he even matched the angle of my face. Then Siyoung, still half asleep, says, your right side looks better on camera. Sammy laughs. See? He gets the flow of the camera. He gave a performance that could totally dominate the screen. In my eyes, Siyoung is already a complete actor. Siyoung's mom hears that and says, our Siyoung really is something. Then Sanmi says, if that's the case, I'd like to make a suggestion. Siyoung wakes up right then, and Sanmi says something, but we don't hear it yet. Both Siyoung and his mom are stunned. Siyoung smiles and says, are you serious? Cut to the next scene. They're back home. The landlord says, here's your payment, 4 million won. The original fee was just 3 million, but the director told us to increase it. Siyoung's parents are completely shocked. Siyoung grins. Just as I expected, being a child model was a smart choice. What other way could I have made money in this kid's body? This is enough to start some capital. If I invest in stocks or gold, he gives a devilish smile. His dad says, 4 million won. I've never even held that kind of money before. But Siyoung's mom looks a little worried and says to the landlord, yesterday, actress Sanmi gave me this. Siyoung says, so that's why you were so shocked, Mom. The landlord looks at it and says, this is a card from Samy's agency, Sing Song Entertainment. His mom says, I think they were really impressed by Siyoung's talent. That's why they want to bring him into their agency as an exclusive child actor. Siyoung's dad is stunned. An exclusive child actor? Are they trying to make our Siyoung a celebrity? His mom replies, I don't know, but if he does well, that would be amazing. Honestly, this is all so unexpected. The landlord looks thoughtful for a moment, then says, don't worry, I'll look into it. I've heard of Sing Song Entertainment. I'll check who the CEO is and how they treat their actors. Hearing that, Siyoung's mom gets emotional and smiles. Siyoung watches and thinks, she's doing so much for us. As the landlord gets ready to leave, Siyoung's mom stops her. She asks, can I ask you something? Why are you helping us so much? You're the first one who really saw Siyoung's talent, and you're always so willing to help. The landlord looks surprised and says softly, I just want to support you. I grew up all alone. I know how hard it is. I saved money by cutting down on food and clothes just to buy this building. Then I met you, this young couple working so hard together. It felt really nice to see that. I just wanted to cheer you on. But maybe I've gotten too involved. Siyoung's mom smiles and says, can I call you Uni? Uni means older sister. The landlord looks surprised. She says, if you don't mind, I want to treat you like family. The landlord smiles gently and says, all right then, and from now on, I'll call you So-young. Siyoung's mom's name is So-young. She adds, so if I ever call her So-young, don't be confused, okay? So-young smiles and says, got it, Myung-uni. From now on, they'll call the landlord Myung. Siyoung watches all this and says, so that's what's going on. The weather really is nice today. 2 weeks later, we see Siyoung's dad at work. He says, just like you asked, boss, we closed the shop early. His boss, Park Won, is the owner of the shop. Siyoung's dad says, thanks so much for letting us close early today so we could watch Siyoung's commercial. His boss replies, of course. We've got a huge TV here, and I want to see our Siyoung's commercial too. Siyoung, annoyed, mutters to himself, if this old guy wasn't my dad's boss, I wouldn't let this slide. But fine, he did me a favor, so whatever. Just then, Myung arrives. So-young welcomes her in. You made it right on time. Myung says, feels like we're all here to watch a movie. Siyoung's dad calls out, it's starting. Everyone gather around. They all sit together to watch Siyoung's commercial. Everyone's beaming at his cuteness. Park Won even starts clapping. Myung says, that was amazing. So well edited too. If all goes well, this commercial might win commercial of the year. Siyoung's dad hugs him and says, I'm so proud of you, Siyoung. How is such a beautiful and talented kid, my son? So-young laughs and says, oh, hush. Just then Park gets a call, and he's shocked. On the other end is the director. I heard you're all watching the commercial together today. There's something urgent I need to talk about with Siyoung's family. May I speak with them? And right then, we're introduced to a few new faces. Scene shifts. We see the director's office, where Siyoung's parents are also present. The director says, thank you for coming. Siyoung's dad replies, Thank you for inviting us to your office. The director turns to Sayong and says, so how are you doing, Sayong? Sayong smiles and responds, Director. Surprised, the director says, wow, he's talking even more than before. Sayong's mom laughs and says, yeah, he's at that stage where he's learning how to talk. He's chatting away all day long. The director chuckles and says, looks like we can start giving Sayong some longer lines. At this rate, he'll be reciting scripts like a pro in no time. Honestly, I'm excited to watch him grow. He then invites the parents to sit and continues. The reason I asked you to come today is to talk about a new program where Sayong will have the lead role. The show is called Just Baby. It's a parenting reality show where 5 famous idol group members will live with Sayong. And the idol group we're partnering with is, just then, a boy walks in and says, I'm Taeyong, the leader of Just, which is the group's name. Taeyong says, I'm really excited to be working with you all. Sayong's mom gets really excited seeing him. Taeyong says, looks like you know our group? Sayong's mom replies, I've seen you guys on TV. Taeyong smiles. We still have a lot to learn, but we're working hard to become the country's top idol group. Please keep supporting us. Sayong's mom says, of course you can do it. Your singing and dancing are amazing. Sayong's dad, however, clearly doesn't like this and says grumpily, so Sayong's mom has someone else she likes besides me. Sayong jumps in and says, jealousy is useless, Dad. The director adds, once we start filming, you'll meet the rest of the members too. That'll be fun, right? Sayong's mom hesitantly says, but isn't this a bit too much for Sayong? Sayong thinks to himself, Mom, I'll never forget that you chose me over those idols. The director says, but I really believe Sayong is the heart of this program. He doesn't just understand things. He feels them. It's like he actually experiences everything. His facial expressions are perfect, and he always knows where the camera is. Honestly, we can't imagine anyone else in the lead role. What do you think? Sayong gets hyped up and thinks, of course we have to do this. I remember now. I've seen the show in my past life. He starts telling us about the show. Its concept was totally unique. Putting a child with an idol group. It was made for audiences of all ages. Young people would find the baby cute, and older people would be reminded of how hard parenting was. In the end, the show became a national sensation. It was the first to truly establish the parenting reality genre. For Sayong, this was perfect. A future child star building his name and fortune. He suddenly starts calling, Director, Director. The director laughs and says, looks like Sayong is really excited about this. Sayong's dad, though, looks worried and says, I'm a little concerned. If Sayong keeps appearing on TV, he might not grow up like a normal kid. I want to raise him like a regular, sweet child, not a celebrity. The director looks surprised. Then Taeyong steps in and says, I get it. Actually, I was a child actor too. Growing up in the public eye means maturing in front of everyone. But I have no regrets. I had the talent and the right environment to shine, and that's what got me here. He looks at Sayong's dad and says, why don't you trust your son? If he has what it takes to shine, shouldn't you give him the chance? Sayong's dad looks at his son and thinks, my son is the most beautiful and talented of them all. If it's your destiny to reach the top and shine the brightest, then so be it. He finally says, I understand, and shakes the director's hand. Please take good care of Lee Se-young. Then we see the countdown to Korea's first ever parenting reality show, Just Baby. Contracts are signed, photos are taken, and finally we move to the first day of shooting. Taeyong says on camera, hello, the new standard of K-pop. We are Just. We see the full group. Taeyong, the leader. This guy is Lux. The one with the pink hair is Zion. The other guy is Bohm, and finally there's Michael. Zion walks up to Sayong and says, so you're the baby? Nice to meet you, Mr. Sayong Book. We're excited to work with you. Then he grabs Sayong's mom's hand and says, especially with you, ma'am. I heard you're a fan. Sayong's dad gets angry again. The director says, from today we'll be shooting in Just Dorm. We have high hopes for this show, so let's all do our best. Sayong thinks to himself, these are the same people I met in my past life. We get a flashback. Taeyong was a CF model for Samjun, and Baeom, who's now an actor, was also exclusive to Samjun. Sayong used to be the chairman of the company, and these guys used to perform at his events. Back in the present, Sayong says, these are the same people who performed at our company events. Michael walks up to Sayong and says, so you're the baby? You're not that cute, and tries to touch him. Sayong slaps his hand away and thinks, how dare you touch me so casually? Taeyong yells at Michael, you just smoked, didn't you? And didn't even wash your hands? You can't touch a baby like that. Sayong glares at Michael and thinks, This Korean-American guy is still as low as I remember him from my past life. Fine. From now on, I'm taking full control of this show. He laughs internally and thinks, I'll craft the perfect character arc for each of them. The rest of the members gather around and start praising Sayoung, but Michael stands off to the side saying, just wait and watch. Scene shifts to the director explaining the shoot. We'll do a 3-day pre-shoot in the Just Dorm. We'll edit that into 3 pilot episodes. Depending on viewer reactions, we'll finalize the regular broadcast schedule. Daytime will be general shooting, and at night, once the staff leaves, we'll switch to observation cameras. Sayoung's parents can stay at the nearby hotel. His parents look anxious. The director says, I understand you're nervous about leaving your son here, but please trust us. We'll take great care of Sayoung. Right. Just? Lux says, of course. Kang says, leave it to us. All right, let's all do our best, says the director. Assistant director begins narration. In a semi-basement apartment somewhere in Seoul, 5 guys known as Just are chasing their dream of becoming top idols. But their lives take an unexpected turn when a baby suddenly enters the picture. We see Sayoung looking at them innocently, while the entire group is frozen in shock. Sayoung's mom says, there are no scripted lines, right? Sayoung's dad confirms, it's a reality show. Assistant director says, he seems unsure how to react. The director says, let's wait a bit. Zion says, dude, the camera's rolling. Say something. Taeyong adds, what are we even supposed to say to a baby? Sayoung watches and thinks, these guys have no clue what they're supposed to do. Looks like I'll have to step in. Then he starts crying. Lux says, what do we do now? Taeyong says, let's calm him down first. He awkwardly holds Sayoung and says, be a good boy, Sayoung. Zion says, bro, the way you're holding him looks dangerous. Let me do it. Zion calms him down and asks, were you scared? Lux and Taeyong look surprised. Zion adds, babies always like good-looking people. Taeyong says, what are you even talking about? Zion replies, babies don't lie. Got it? Sayoung thinks, just as I thought, each of them has a distinct personality. Taeyong is the leader, smart and responsible, almost like a dad. Zion is a flower boy, a little self-obsessed but with a motherly touch. Lux is a laid-back athlete, like a friendly big brother. Biom is quiet but always thinking about others. They're a perfect mix for playing house. And that guy, Michael says, taking care of kids is way too much work. Sayoung points at him and thinks, honestly, I wanted to make him the villain, but for this group's success, I'll make him the rival. Zion notices something and nervously says, bro, I think Sayoung's diaper needs to be changed. It feels heavy. Taeyong says, what? I've never even touched a diaper. Michael steps in, saying, you guys are crazy. I'll handle this. Turns out he's raised his 3 younger siblings, so he's confident. But as soon as he takes the diaper off, Sayoung refreshes right onto Michael's face. Sayoung says, I feel much better now. So how was that? At least react a little. Everyone is silent, then bursts out laughing. Sayoung says, see, that's the comedy. This shoot was a success. Later, the director says they'll take a 2-hour break before the evening shoot. Just members are exhausted. Lux says, reality shows are seriously tough. Taeyong says, if we had a script, this would be easier. Meanwhile, Sayoung's mom praises him and gives him his favorite, banana. He thinks, I never used to touch this in my past life, but now I actually like it. Taeyong comes over, and Sayoung's dad calls him sir. Taeyong says, you don't need to be so formal, just talk casually. He adds, Sayoung is really interesting. Every time I'm around him, I lose myself in the moment. Everyone's just naturally acting, but somehow every scene turns out perfect and entertaining. Meanwhile, Zion is in his own world saying, a flower boy who can do childcare. Am I really that amazing? Taeyong says, it's like Sayoung already knows all our roles and is acting accordingly. Sayoung's dad laughs. It's probably just coincidence, right? Taeyong says, yeah, maybe. He's just a kid after all, but he's definitely shining more than I expected. Michael comes out after his shower and sees the assistant director putting something in the fridge. He asks, what's that? She replies, it's baby food for Sayoung's dinner. Michael snatches it away with a smirk and says, I'll prepare it myself. He thinks, since baby Sayoung is so dull and boring, I'll make him entertaining. Then he pulls out a packet of chili sauce from his pocket. Michael says, making an artist do baby shows. How crazy are these people? He adds the chili sauce to the food and says, now it's your turn to suffer, kid. Scene shifts, observation cameras are set up. The staff leaves. Taeyong says, "So what should we do now?" Everyone is tired. Lux says, "Let's eat first. I'm starving." Baeom says, "But I don't know how to cook." Zion looks miserable. Sayong encourages him, "Don't give up so easily." Taeyong says, "We gotta prep something." Lux says, "At least I can make ramen." Taeyong adds, "And we gotta feed Sayong his baby food." Michael steps in. "I've already taken care of it," and walks over with the food bowl. Taeyong says, "Wow, you were mad all day, and now you want to help?" Michael says, "Say what you want, but I'll be the one feeding the baby." Sayong senses something's off. Michael says, "Come on, kid. Your mom made this just for you." But Sayong smiles and asks Michael to try it first. Taeyong laughs and says, "Sayong, are you asking Michael to taste it first? You're seriously too cute." Michael hesitates. Taeyong says, "What's the big deal? He's just asking you to try it. What's the problem?" Michael says, "Why should I eat baby food?" Taeyong rolls his eyes and says, "Fine, I'll take all of Sayong's love for myself," and goes to taste it. Michael tries to stop him, but Taeyong eats it. His face immediately changes. Zion asks, "What happened, Taeyong?" Sayong says angrily, "I knew it. You messed with my food. You're done now." Michael panics. Taeyong says, "It tasted like chili sauce." Zion shouts, "What? But how did that get in the baby food?" They all look at Michael. He finally admits he put chili sauce in it. "It was just a joke. It makes for great footage." "Don't you guys know anything about entertainment?" Taeyong yells. "Entertainment or not, there are some lines you never cross." Zion grabs Michael by the collar and shouts, "Are you insane? What if something happened to Sayong after eating that?" Sayong thinks, "Zion, you've got some real charisma." Taeyong kneels beside Sayong. "I'm sorry. Michael's just immature." "Were you surprised?" Michael says, "Why are you even talking to that kid? He doesn't understand anything anyway." Taeyong snaps. "Sayong is smart. He does understand. And even if he didn't, you still owe him a proper apology." Sayong smiles and thinks, "These guys have potential. That's good." Then with a mischievous grin, he thinks, "Starting today, I'm officially taking the lead." 2 weeks later, we're shown a scene at Si-hyung's house where Myung tells them the news. 20%. Hearing that, Si-hyung's parents are pretty shocked. Myung says, "Did you both watch the first episode of Just Baby that aired last Friday? That episode recorded a 20% viewership rating." Si-hyung's mom, surprised, says, "We really enjoyed watching it, mainly because Si-hyung was in it." Se-hyung's dad adds, 20% viewership. "That's amazing, isn't it?" Myung replies, "It's more than amazing. It's incredible. Even MVC's flagship entertainment shows barely pull around 15%. Se-hyung's mom says, "I got a call from the director. He told me the program's been added to the regular schedule now." Myung responds, "Seriously? That's amazing news. Congratulations, Se-hyung book." Si-hyung smiles and thinks to himself, "Of course this is happening. I'm the one doing it. Success at this level is only natural. But I'm not satisfied with just this. My goal is money, fame, and becoming rich, then rising to the top. I'm a genius." He starts laughing again. Myung thinks to herself, he's really a unique kid. Se-hyung's mom turns to Myung and says, "Oh, right, I wanted to ask you something. A few days ago, someone from Sinsung Entertainment came to our house." Hearing that, Myung looks a bit shocked. Se-hyung's mom continues, "They came to congratulate us on the show's success and brought a fruit basket." The scene shifts to a flashback. A man is telling them, "CEO Sin Sung Young wants to meet with you. When you have time, please visit our agency." Back in the present, Se-hyung's mom asks, "So, what should we do now?" Myung says, "I looked into Sinsung Entertainment. Seems like they have a lot of influence in the entertainment industry, but there are rumors that the CEO might have connections with gangsters." Se-hyung's parents get worried hearing the word gangsters. Myung says, "Should we go? Refusing an invitation from Sinsung's CEO could be hard. Let's just check it out. See what they want. I'll come with you. It'd be rude to decline without even hearing them out." Si-hyung thinks, Sinsung Entertainment. Sinsung Jung. Why does that name sound familiar? Then suddenly his expression changes. "Wait, could it be that guy? Don't go. You must not go there. That man, Sinsung Jung, he's the kind of person you should never get into a contract with." The scene shifts to the Sinsung Entertainment office. CEO Sinsung Young smiles and says, "Please come in. Make yourselves at home." Myung says, "Thank you for inviting us, CEO Sinsung Young. But may I ask, why did you want to meet us?" Sin Sung Jung replies, I wanted to discuss something for Sa-young's benefit. Hearing that, Si-hyung thinks angrily, our Sa-young? You don't even know me. He nearly kicks him out of frustration. Myung asks, for his benefit? Young says, I'm talking about a contract, an exclusive contract. That means Sa-young would become a partner with Sin-sung Entertainment, Korea's #1 agency. It's a 10-year exclusive deal. Sa-young's mom looks shocked, and Si-hyung is silently thinking. Myung says, an exclusive contract for 10 years? Young continues, you've heard of actor Jang Dong-gun and MC Yeonmi, right? They're also under exclusive contracts with us. Sin-sung is home to Korea's top talents, and we really value Sa-young's talent. That's why we've prepared special contract terms for him. Myung begins reading the contract. Si-hyung says, let me see it too. After reading, Myung is visibly shocked. Sin Sung Jung explains, the contract will be a 10-year exclusive deal with a 7-3 profit split. Of course, 7 to us. Sa-young is stunned. 7-3? That's ridiculous. This contract is basically slavery. Forcing this kind of deal on a new artist is wrong. In reality, the contract says 70% of profits go to the company and only 30% to Sa-young. That's exploitation, plain and simple. But Jung, trying to sound confident, says, everyone else thinks this is a great opportunity. One of the employees adds, absolutely, boss. Sa-young thinks to himself angrily, this guy's using the same tactics again. Just like before, Sin Sung Jung. We're shown a flashback. Si-hyung says, in my previous life, Sin Sung Jung was closely connected with our company, Sam Ji-on, especially with my father, Vice Chairman Jeon Jae-hyung. He met Sin Sung through MC Yeonmi, and they funneled Sam Ji-on's advertising budget directly to Sin Sung Entertainment. Sin Sung Jung even showed loyalty to my dad, but in the end he went to prison for threatening and assaulting his own celebrities. Back in the present, Sin Sung Jung says, I've been in this industry for 10 years, and I've never seen a child actor as talented as Sa-young. Hand him over to me, and I'll make him a great actor. Then his internal monologue reveals his true plans. Child actors usually lose popularity as they grow up. So while they're still in the spotlight, trap them in long-term contracts, milk them for advertisement money, and when they're no longer useful, just toss them away. No one supports them anyway. They're perfect targets. But before his plan can succeed, Myung says, sorry, but we reject your offer. Si-hyung is thrilled. Jung asks, but why? Myung replies, a 70-30 split is unfair, and a 10-year contract isn't right for Sa-young. His value will only grow in the future. Jung, now irritated, says, you sound very confident. I can tell you really like that kid, but you clearly don't know much about the entertainment industry. The child actor market isn't that big. Their earnings are nothing compared to adult actors. Sa-young thinks, this jerk is trying to belittle us. Jung adds, what if his face changes as he grows older? Then he'll lose all his value, right? Sa-young's mom quickly covers his ears and says, how can you say such things in front of a child? Sa-young stares daggers at Jung and says, and look who's talking. You'll end up looking like a frog in your old age. But me? I'll only get better with time. Sa-young starts yelling, and his mom tries to calm him down. Myung stands up and says, you clearly have no manners. We're leaving now. Jung says, but miss, you're not even his mother. Why do you keep interfering? Outsiders should stay out of it. Sa-young's mom gets mad and is about to speak, but Myung says, I'm his manager. So yes, I can speak. Let's go, Sa-young. Then she turns to Jung and says, I used to work at an advertising company, and I can tell you with full confidence, this contract is unfair. Goodbye. They begin to leave. Jung yells, you'll regret this decision. How dare you disrespect me? Sin Sung Jung, you think you'll still be able to work in this industry? Sa-young thinks, now he's showing his true face. Myung replies calmly, we'll see, and they walk out of the office. Outside, Myung mutters, what a pathetic man, threatening a pregnant woman. Is he even human? Sa-young thinks, you said it. Myung turns to Sa-young and asks, are you okay? That must have been a lot to take in. Sa-young says, honestly, I think you had it tougher than I did. Myung smiles. People like that are everywhere in this industry, and there's no need to sign a contract with a company like that. Let's go. There should be a bus nearby. As they walk, Sa-young's mom calls out, Ani, are you really going to be Sa-young's manager? That surprises Myung. Sa-young thinks, that's not a bad idea. In business, you meet a lot of talented people, but trustworthy ones, rare, and she's proven herself time and again. A person who's skilled and trustworthy, That's the real deal. Myung says, look, I'm not an expert in entertainment,